Greetings from Prime Rank Vision. We'll look at the top 10 fighters of all time today. These are the legends whose names live on through the ages, whose abilities are incomprehensible, and whose tales uplift future generations. Prepare to behold magnificence and revisit the moments that shaped their legacy. Number 1, Jones. Jones was a formidable combatant. As the light heavyweight champion of the UFC, he had a quick ascent to prominence, earning 11 title defenses. He has defeated fighters including Vitor Belfort, Daniel Cormier, Rashad Evans, and Quinton Rampage Jackson during his career. The greatest light heavyweight of all time, his only defeat came from being disqualified for illegal elbows. He's still among the greatest, even if his off-field problems have received a lot of attention. According to current reports, Jones defeated Cyril Gane to win the vacant championship belt after moving up to the heavyweight class. The achievement of becoming a two-division champion catapulted Jones's fame to GOAT status. The best mixed martial arts fighter of all time is Georges St-Pierre. After being teased by children in elementary school, he took up karate. Through this pain, he discovered his purpose. History is what's left. Legendary was St-Pierre's tenure as the UFC welterweight champion. During his peak, St-Pierre successfully defended the title 9 times in a row and embarked on a 13-fight winning streak. The UFC record for most takedowns is held by St-Pierre. St-Pierre defeated Michael Bisping to win the middleweight championship after giving up the welterweight title and taking a 4-year hiatus from the octagon. He became just the 4th fighter to win 2 divisions in UFC history. Due to ulcerative colitis, he had to renounce his middleweight belt after the fight. The uncommon fighter that quit at the top is St-Pierre. In his prime, Silva was unstoppable, making him the greatest striker of all time. The middleweight champion for the longest period of time in UFC history, he held the belt for 2,457 days. It might never be surpassed. The Brazilian fighter successfully defended his middleweight title 10 times and won 16 straight battles. Silva never recovered from his fibula and tibia breaks. Silva finished his career with a 1-5 record, but it didn't diminish his legend. His championship fight at UFC 117 against Chael Sonnen is a prime example of his perseverance and drive for victory. Johnson is a true great, despite his little stature, 5 feet 3 inches, 125 pounds. He was an excellent wrestler who absolutely destroyed his opponents with his quick takedowns and ground and pound tactics. The first flyweight champion in UFC history was Johnson. 11 title defenses later, he never looked back. In 2018, he lost his title as the greatest flyweight in UFC history. He is now an MMA fighter for the Singapore-based organization One Championship. Khabib was a superb wrestler who exhausted his opponents by dominating them into submission with his perfect ground game. He defeated the strongest opponent the lightweight class could provide. During his career, he defeated Rafael dos Anjos, Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor, and Justin Gaethje. He retired in his prime as the current lightweight champion with an unblemished record following the loss of his father. After making his way up from World Extreme cage fighting, Aldo entered the UFC and won the featherweight title. Prior to Conor McGregor's dethronement in 2015, Aldo successfully defended his belt 8 times as champion. Throughout most of his career, he put his opponents to sleep with his deadly Brazilian jiu-jitsu skills. He had a run of 18 consecutive victories and no losses for more than 10 years at one time in his career. In 2022, Aldo finally called it quits after a lengthy career. Before wreaking havoc in the UFC, Cormier began his career with Strikeforce, making him one of the best grapplers to enter the cage. Cormier was competing against John Jones for the light heavyweight title by the time of his 5th UFC match. Having won the lightweight and heavyweight titles concurrently, he became the 2nd fighter in UFC history to hold the titles in 2 weight divisions. After losing to Stipe Miocic twice in a row, Cormier announced his retirement. His career as a UFC commentator is now flourishing. Miocic embodies what it means to be an athlete. He's a Division I wrestler at Cleveland State University and a former Golden Gloves boxing champ. He was a baseball player in college as well. During his career, the UFC heavyweight champion twice overcame opponents like Daniel Cormier, Francis Ngannou, and Junior Dos Santos. He also made 4 title defenses. In addition, Miocic works as a firefighter paramedic in Ohio's Oakwood and Valley View. Fedor remains one of the best heavyweight fighters of all time, despite never having competed in the UFC. Among other MMA promotions, he competed in Bellator, Pride, and Strikeforce. He was a power puncher, just like other heavyweights. He was also capable of controlling matches with his rash ground and pound technique. He was an excellent striker and a dynamic combatant. We were disappointed not to see him compete in the UFC. The famous one in particular. McGregor, the biggest pay-per-view, PPV draw in UFC history, won over fans with his aggressive fighting style and renowned trash talking. McGregor contributed to the sport's current state of development and popularization. By winning the featherweight and lightweight titles simultaneously, the Irish fighter made history as the first dual division champion. Being a southpaw, McGregor was entertaining to watch fight and a serious threat to be eliminated with precision strikes. In 2017, he even put Floyd Mayweather in a box. In 2021, he was the world's highest paid athlete. His influence on the sport is indisputable. He was imitated by many, but never exceeded.
Chad is excellent.
Thank you for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like, comment our favorite fighter, and of course, subscribe. Until next time, keep fighting for what you believe in, both inside and outside the ring.